change excites me. I mean, just the change. And there are so many changes coming from CMS. We've been given preview to how the value-based purchasing program is going to be expanded. So there's all kinds of opportunity for us to analyze more and more in different parts of data. Social determinants of health is huge, and new data points on the new MDS. So I embrace change, and it keeps me from getting bored in my job.
In doing this for 29 years, and what just drives me are the residents and the stories they tell. And I feel like after 29 years, I could write a book just like probably many have, but I love the stories. I love to be there on site, see them day to day, see them enjoying, our activities programs, talking to them about the food, all of their life stories that, sometimes they don't have anybody to tell them to, and I love to hear them. And so that's the number one reason I think that I have stayed in long-term care, is just to continue to hear those stories. The other reason is I've had just the good fortune of working with excellent people. Having a great boss, having an amazing assistant, working with all of the different facilities in our locations, all the staff that's there, and really working with them to advance in their careers and grow in their roles has been very rewarding for me. So I think that's the other big reason that I stay.
With nurses, you have an idea of what you want to do and what it's going to be like when you get into that position, whether it be peds or labor and delivery or psych. But I think long-term care is one of those paths that is overlooked, frankly, and you still get to do all the things that you would do somewhere else other than pediatrics and labor and delivery, of course. But your skills, you keep your skills up. You can do IVs, you can do vents and trachs and Foleys and pleural drains. You can do all those things. You tend to be able to use all those skills, but yet on a population that is going to welcome you into the room and try to talk to you while you're doing it and probably instruct you on how to do it the right way. But I think that long-term care is often seen as just a nursing home, but it's so much more than that. You will use your nursing skills.
I love the residents. Our staff is awesome, but it's mainly the residents. They are like my family, especially the ones that have nobody. It's fun to sit down and visit with them. I wouldn't leave it for the world.
As I grew through this position, I really found I have a passion for data analytics that I never knew as an RN years ago. But I'm just fascinated with the picture that the data shows. So I really enjoy teaching our customers, which are nurses and administrators and QAPI executives and infection nurses and stuff, how to look at the data that's already at their fingertips that CMS is reading and see the picture and see the areas that we could be taking better care of the patients or improving or making sure we're getting paid all the work we've done to help those residents. So that's been my journey.
Started nursing school, and I was convinced I was going into pediatrics. Like, that is what I wanted to do. I loved kids. And when I was in nursing school, my grandmother had an event at end of life that kind of made me want to do long-term care. She had every resource available to her, and she did not have the best end of life experience. So it immediately changed my thinking on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And I just wanted to advocate for the elderly in their last days.
Our family members see us doing this role. I can't tell you how many of our employees' families end up following in the footsteps of their mom, or their dad in long-term care, and having those conversations way earlier. I mean, there should be no reason that a 16-year-old doesn't think like, oh, that would be, a lovely, noble career. We need to start having those conversations just so much earlier, and helping people realize all the different jobs there are in long-term care.
When I went to nursing school at UCLA, we did not have a rotation in SNF. We had a very short rotation in home health, but not one in SNF. And I've actually done some inquiring to friends of mine who have daughters and stuff that are going through nursing school right now. And there is, I think, looking back, I would have loved to have worked in a SIP because it would have been a smaller situation. You wouldn't be in this massive hospital that's extremely overwhelming. You're in a much more cozy situation. It's much homier. I had a grandmother who was in an assisted living, who we would go in all the time, and our son's Cub Scout troop, we would work with the residents, and they are just a true joy to work with. They don't always have family there, and they really appreciate and really get to know the nurses who are taking care of them. So you really get to know your patients, which is what a lot of times drives us to be a nurse. We want that interaction, that compassion, and I feel that the elderly are so receptive to it and appreciative of it.
I would tell them, it's awesome. It's not like the ER where you don't get attached to anybody. You learn to love your residents, and I think it's the best place for anybody to start.
It was unexpected. It's a wonderful surprise, and I am very excited, to meet everybody else that won as well.
Immensely humbled, first of all, because especially working with the nurses on the front lines who are actually taking care of the residents, I said, well, they're the ones who've been most impactful. I remember it was my first response.
I was shocked. I was excited. And then I got extremely nervous.
I'm incredibly honored. I'm gonna cry again. To just be a little geriatric nurse from the Midwest, and we've all faced a lot of challenges in the past several years, from getting my doctorate to being diagnosed with breast cancer and getting through that, and then COVID said, hold my beer. And so here we are, and I'm elated. It is such an honor to get an award from a national organization like AAPACN. So I'm very touched.